Today we are talking about how to beat menopausal belly fat. Hi, for those of you who don't know me, it is Sophie here, and today we are going to be chatting about, I am actually going to be giving you my 5 top tips, rock solid tips for beating menopausal belly fat, also known as middle-aged spread or middle-age spread. Now, what I am not suggesting is that we should all be walking around after the age of 50 with washboard six-pack stomachs. That would be the exception to the rule. And honestly, the only women I've seen over the age of 50 who do have that kind of a stomach are bodybuilders. And they pump iron 6 to 7 days a week, and some of them even take steroids. But seriously, the amount of work and dietary control, that's really not what I'm talking about. So to get a little bit of softness all over our body and in the belly area as we get older, particularly as our hormones diminish, 45 plus is normal and natural. And particularly those of us who are mums. I'm a mum, and there's a lot of loose skin and imperfections, I should say. But I'm 55, I've been through menopause. I don't normally ever show my belly in any kind of picture or video or anything. But I do just want to show you that this is me. I'm not going to pull my shirt completely up because I'm too embarrassed, but that's my sort of belly. And I actually, I would say my belly, my midsection is in better shape now than it was 15 years ago. And I put that down to the 5 tips that we are going to go into right now. And stay along to the end and watch all of them because they're all super duper important. Tip number 1. Get your hormones, thyroid, and cortisol levels checked. Get that lab work done. Now, I'm not a doctor, I am a board certified nutritionist. And because I'm not a doctor, I'm not going to do, obviously, a deep dive into hormonal health and thyroid, etc. However, what I do know from my own personal experience, the work that I've done on myself and leading hundreds of clients through health and wellness coaching, is that if you don't do these tests and then start to take the right action to balance your hormones, to make sure your thyroid is firing properly, to make sure your cortisol levels are balanced, that you're not in full adrenal burnout, etc., then it is going to be an uphill struggle for you in terms of this menopausal belly fat. It's really, really hard, and I don't want it to be hard for you. And that's why I've put this tip number 1, because you can do all the others, but you can make it hard, if not impossible for yourself, if your hormones are flatlined. So if you have 0 estrogen, 0 testosterone, 0 progesterone, you're just flatlined on all of those. Let's say you have a low firing thyroid. Let's say your stress hormones, your cortisol and whatever are sort of out of whack. They're burned out. Then one of the symptoms of all or some of these being out of balance is midsection weight gain, particularly during and after menopause. I have done some videos with Dr. Rachel West, who's a functional doctor. I'll link to one of them, I think is already out underneath this video. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel so that you can get all of those, because she actually does go into this topic, and it's really, really interesting, complex, I will say, but very interesting. So within this tip number 1, find yourself a functional or an integrative doctor if you haven't got one already, because they will test you beyond the usual range that a regular doctor might test you. They'll really want to help you to do a deep dive into your hormones, really getting to the bottom of that. Some of them also might be able to prescribe bioidentical hormones for you. So that is my absolute number one tip, particularly for menopausal, and actually not just menopausal, perimenopausal, which can start as early really as 40, all the way through to menopausal and postmenopausal. Tip number 2, what do you eat? So this is perhaps my favorite tip for me, and has had the biggest impact on me, and why I am sitting why at the age of 55 I'm able on a public YouTube video to stand up and actually show you my belly, because I think that the way that I've been eating for the last 6 or so years really has changed my body shape, and it's kind of slimmed and sort of shrunk everything down significantly. So this is, I eat a whole food plant-based diet, and I really believe from my own personal experience and guiding hundreds of clients through this way of eating, I 100% believe that eating a whole food plant-based diet that is low in oil and very low in added sugars will significantly decrease your midsection belly fat. And if that hasn't started to sort of spread, there's a reason why they call it middle-age spread. If it hasn't even sort of started for you, or you're like, I think this is on its way, now is the time to start. I promise you that all these trendy, restrictive weight loss diets, like the keto and the paleo and all this, it's quick weight loss, but you put all of that weight back on and some. It's not sustainable. It's a diet. It's not enjoyable. Switching to a whole food, that's unprocessed foods, way of eating is 100% the way to go. Now, if you're thinking, okay, Sophie, I hear you, I get you, but how am I going to get my protein? I like my meat, I like my cheese, whatever it is. It sounds like way too much hard work. I can't cook, whatever. I run these challenges throughout the year. They are called the 31 Whole Food Plant Powered Challenge. And I take you by the hand and for 31 days, guide you every step of the way, and I make it super easy, doable, fun, and delicious. So if you're interested in one of those challenges, click the link below this video. There is one coming up. There may still be room on that. And if you're watching this video at another time and there's not one immediately coming up, click on the link anyway so that you can get on the list to be the first to know. But regardless of whether you do one of my challenges, and these challenges will move the needle. The average weight loss on these challenges is 9 pounds. Some people 2 to 3 pounds. We've had people lose 17 to 18 pounds, and that's within 31 days. And although it's not about weight loss per se, it's about getting healthy. And, having a trimmer waist or a trimmer body actually all over, generally speaking is healthier too. So tip number 3. This is also something that I do, and I think this contributes an awful lot to, me feeling kind of decent and pretty good about my own body right now, is resistance training. Now, I'm so sold on this because probably before menopause, my workouts were more yoga. I'm a yoga teacher, so I would do quite a lot of yoga. And I do cardio. So if I went to the gym or hiking or whatever, it would be the elliptical. There was a little bit more of a focus, I should say, on cardio and yoga. But then I started to understand and really learn how much muscle mass we lose every year. It's actually starting at the age of 35, but then past 50, it dramatically declines. It's called sarcopenia. You actually lose your muscles. And that's why you see women who are a little bit older with no muscle tone. And the truth is, it's really hard to get muscle tone after the age of sort of 45, 50. You have to work doubly hard. What you might have done when you were 30, you're going to have to do double that now in order to get strong muscles. And so a lot of women, when they start working with a trainer or go to a gym, they're like, oh, I don't want to bulk up. You won't bulk up unless you're doing 2 to 3 hours of heavy weights and multiple reps, but mainly heavy weights. You won't. That's a myth. Trust me, you have to work so hard just to maintain your muscle mass. But the reason why this is so vitally important right now, while we're talking about this midsection belly fat, is that when you're working all the muscles in your body and you're building that muscle mass in your legs, in your glutes, in your arms, you're turning your body into a fat burning machine while you sleep. It's as simple as that. And an hour on the treadmill ain't gonna do that. But once you start really getting this muscle mass, I promise you, you're going to crank up your metabolism. Your fat burning is happening even while you're not working those muscles out. And it's not your muscle gain or your muscle strength doesn't necessarily pertain to a certain area. So let's just say you were just doing lower body, your legs, you're going to see it all over your body, the weight loss and the lean. And another misconception about this is that when we start getting this belly fat, this middle-aged belly fat, this spread, we start doing so much ab work. We do endless crunches, and really, although we do need to do our core work, don't go too crazy with that, because the ab muscles are harder to build. I want you to really focus on building the muscles in your legs, your glutes, and your arms just as much as your abs. So I really hope you get that point. I feel so passionate about it. And just those 3 that I've outlined so far, I mean, you've got to stick around for the other 2, but just those 3 that I've outlined so far, you're going to see a massive difference. And I want this for you because I don't want you to walk around unhappy thinking, oh, I don't feel so good about myself. Neither do I want you to be hoodwinked by all these silly diets that you see on the magazine covers at the checkout stand at the grocery store or on Facebook or whatever, because they just, let's be sensible, they just don't work. I don't want you to waste your money, time, get your false hope up, let's be sensible about it. And everything that I teach, and if you go a little bit more into the challenges and stuff that I do, you'll find that every single thing that I teach is underpinned by evidence-based science. I'm a stickler for it. It's not my opinion. I mean, I'm telling you what I do, but it's the opinion of multiple sources all put together. That's called a meta-analysis of evidence-based science, or all available. All right, let's move on to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is to avoid alcohol. And I know this tip, you're like, oh, wait a minute, I knew that one was coming. But I will say that even just having a couple of glasses of wine a night can start building up. It is those extra liquid calories. And I'm actually going to add into this point soda as well. So liquid sugar. Because you've got it's liquid calories. So whether it's a glass of wine, or whether it's a cocktail, or whether it's a diet, well, let's just say a sugary soda, actually, for now, you're drinking your calories, and that is just, you may as well be mainlining calories. The other thing that's really important to me about the alcohol is, and everything that I teach, is for disease prevention. Every single one of these tips, the beauty of them are not only are we talking about reducing your menopausal belly fat, but we are also talking about disease prevention. And even 2 glasses of wine a day, every single day, can quite significantly increase your risk for breast cancer, as can eating meat and dairy, etc. So stay with me on this one. And, by all means, have the odd glass of wine, but have it as a treat. The main thing with this point is if you can, try not to get into the habit of every single night, like, oh, I'm going to kick back now and have a little bit of wine or whatever. Switch it out. Have a beautiful sparkling water or a glass of kombucha or something else, and just save your wine or your alcohol for a very special treat. Tip number 5 is late night snacking and late night eating. And this is really, really important, because I think a lot of us who are stressed, we get tired, we're exhausted by the end of the day. So it's a sort of double whammy, because not only are we tired, and when we're tired, our resistance to snacking, to staying out of the fridge or the freezer or the area of the pantry with the snacks, that resistance diminishes because you're tired. So you might wake up first thing in the morning and you're all guns blazing and yeah, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to have my smoothie, going to have my healthy snacks, I'm going to stay away from all that. But then come the afternoon, there's the slump, that's a tricky time as well. But if you're gonna have your little snack or whatever, I'd rather you have it mid-afternoon than evening, because anytime after dinner, you just basically, say you have your dinner at 8 o'clock, that's it. At the end of dinner, when you finish, 8:30, whatever, kitchen's closed, cabinet's closed, fridge and freezer is closed. And this is for 2 very important reasons. One, because obviously if you go to bed and you're with snacking, you've got food that's undigested and you're not using up with activity those extra calories, and they can mount up. You can just go, I'm just going to have a handful of nuts or a little bit of ice cream or whatever it is, but it slowly mounts up when you're sitting just watching TV. I love to sit and watch TV and snack, but it's just something I don't do, because I know over time, as I'm getting a bit older, over the age of 50, I just know where that could go. So my sweet tooth is assuaged by 1 square or maybe 2 squares of a really dark chocolate that completely satisfies my taste buds needing a little bit of sweet at the end of the meal. So I'll have that after dinner, or maybe about 30 minutes after dinner, and I'm done. And I'll really savor that chocolate. I'll often have a dark sugar-free chocolate and it'll be delicious, and I'm absolutely, that's it. But the other thing is this business of intermittent fasting, which I think there is a lot of value to intermittent fasting, but you don't have to make a big deal out of it. It's simply just fast for 12 hours every single night. So if you finish your dinner, or you'll finish your last mouthful, I should say, at 8:30, you do not eat anything until 8:30 the next morning. If you finish eating at 7, then you don't eat anything until 7 the next morning. And you give your body that window, that 12-hour window, just to recalibrate, to reset, so that your metabolism can reset. It really will help you significantly. So those are the 5 tips. Please follow every single one of them. They are all extremely important for taking care of this middle-aged weight gain. Excuse me, slight allergies here. It can happen to men, it can happen to women, but I am talking mainly about women here, because we're talking about menopause, but it can happen to all of us. And the real key is nip it in the bud before it runs away with you, because once you've got it and it's really sort of spread, it's a little bit harder to get a handle on. But even if you are there and you're like, oh, Sophie, I'm beyond that and it's going to be so hard, don't despair. Please follow those 5 tips. You want to follow them for a little while. Give me 3 months, or 6 months, then get back to me, come back to this video, connect with me on my blog. I'll put the link below, or Facebook or whatever. I'm on everything. And let me know, because this is such an exciting thing. And the thing that just makes my day is when I've taken women either through, personal coaching, but mainly through the challenges, because on the challenges, we're all in a private Facebook group and we really support each other and we share all of our triumphs. And it makes me so happy to read the comments in those groups, because women are just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I feel better. I look better than I've looked in 20 years. And that is, of course, what I want for you. So check out some of my other videos. As those other videos with the functional doctor come up, I'll just keep on linking them underneath this video because I think you'll find them really interesting. But the sure way that you can not miss any of these is obviously to make sure you subscribe, and please leave your comments. I'm dying to hear what you have to say, your thoughts, your struggles about this particular topic, because it is a big topic and it's something that, you know, it affects all of us, and you know, and my sort of hope and strength for you is that it doesn't have to. So I'll see you next time. Bye. If you enjoyed this video and don't want to miss any of my upcoming videos, please subscribe and make sure you click on the bell icon next door to the subscription box so you'll be notified as soon as a video goes live. Also, make sure you turn on the notifications for YouTube on your phone.